Have you ever felt like you're constantly pouring yourself out, yet never quite full, like the world keeps pulling at your sleeves, demanding more of your time, your energy, your attention, until there's barely anything left for you? In a society obsessed with noise, endless scrolling and chasing illusions of success, it's easy to forget the simplest truth. Your life belongs to you. The Stoics knew this long before us. They taught that peace isn't found in pleasing others or chasing status. It's found within, in the quiet strength of a focused mind and a disciplined soul. When you stop scattering your energy in 1,000 directions and start directing it inward, you reclaim your power. You begin to live, not by reaction, but by intention. This isn't about shutting the world out. It's about returning to yourself. Because when you learn to master your mind, the world loses its grip on you. Welcome to Stoic Lens, where we don't chase illusions, we face reality. Today, we're exploring what happens when you focus solely on yourself, not out of selfishness, but out of wisdom. If you've ever felt stretched thin, off course, or just tired of giving more than you get, this is your sign to pause, look inward, and begin again. Take a breath. Let's go deeper. Number 1, prioritize yourself or be controlled. Let me ask you this: whose life are you truly living? Epictetus, one of the most respected Stoic minds, once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In other words, if your path is shaped by the applause of others, you've already lost your way. Because the harsh truth is this: when your ambitions are borrowed from society, your life no longer belongs to you. Most people live in quiet desperation. They wear masks to fit in. They follow rules they never questioned, and they exhaust themselves trying to meet expectations that were never theirs to begin with. They chase titles, possessions, approval, only to wake up one day and realize they don't recognize the person in the mirror. It's a silent kind of slavery. They say yes when they want to say no. They give their time, their energy, even their identity away, hoping to be accepted, to be liked, to be enough. But in doing so, they abandon the one person they can never replace: themselves. Here's the Stoic truth: no one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to hand you peace, purpose, or power. And the more you sacrifice yourself without boundaries, the more invisible you become. The world respects those who respect themselves first. Now, does that mean turning cold or selfish? Absolutely not. Stoicism isn't about detachment from humanity. It's about detachment from illusion. There is a profound difference between serving others from a place of strength and letting them drain you out of guilt or fear. A Stoic seeks balance. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Before you can uplift anyone else, you must first anchor yourself. That means setting standards. That means saying no. That means walking away from people, habits, or environments that diminish your value. When you start prioritizing yourself, you stop chasing and start attracting. You stop seeking permission and start living with purpose. You no longer bend to fit someone else's mold. You define your own. You become grounded, disciplined, whole, and paradoxically, the moment you stop needing others' approval is the moment they begin to admire your presence. Why? Because you've become someone who leads themselves. So ask yourself and answer honestly: are you the author of your own story, or just another actor in someone else's play? If this message speaks to something deep within you, drop a comment below. I choose myself. Because in the end, no one else can do that for you. Number 2, let go of validation. Most people live in a quiet prison, one built not of walls, but of opinions. They spend their lives trying to control how others see them, shaping their behavior to earn approval, filtering their truth to avoid judgment. But no matter how much you try, you will never control the minds of others. Be too confident, they say you're arrogant. Show humility, they say you're weak. Succeed, they call it luck. Focus on yourself, they call it selfish. So let me ask you, why should you care? Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who once lived as a slave, taught that true freedom lies in focusing only on what is within your control, your thoughts, your actions, and your responses. Everything else, how people feel, how they judge, what they say, is beyond your reach. Yet most people spend their lives fearing what others might think. They chase validation like a shadow, never realizing that the more they seek it, the more they lose themselves. Why is validation so addictive? Because deep down, many don't trust their own judgment. They seek external reassurance to feel worthy. But Stoicism teaches that worthiness is not something to be given. It is something you must claim for yourself. The moment you stop chasing approval, you become unshakable. You no longer bend to fit someone else's mold. You walk your own path, speak with quiet confidence, and act without the need to explain. That kind of presence cannot be manipulated. And here's the paradox. The less you seek validation, the more respect you earn, because people are drawn to those who don't need their approval to begin with. So next time you hear the voice in your head asking, "What will they think?" answer it with the truth. It doesn't matter. Their opinion won't define you. Their approval won't fulfill you. What matters is how you see yourself. If you're ready to reclaim that power, comment below, "My mind belongs to me." Because once you stop living for others, you finally start living for yourself. Number 3, guard your focus. Most people believe they are thinking for themselves, but in truth, their focus is constantly being pulled by others, friends, employers, even strangers online, not through force, but through subtle influence, opinions, guilt, expectations. They all work like invisible hands, guiding our emotions, shaping our choices. The Stoics wouldn't call this dark psychology. They'd call it external disturbance, a force that only has power if you let it enter your inner citadel. When you allow others to guilt you for setting boundaries, you surrender your peace. When you stay in unhealthy relationships out of fear or guilt, you lose your freedom. When you give your time to gossip, arguments, or distractions, you abandon your purpose. But here's the truth. No one can steal your focus without your permission. As Epictetus taught, no one is free who is not master of himself. The Stoic path is about reclaiming that mastery. You must learn to recognize manipulation not as a trick from others, but as a test of your own clarity. You're not at war with people. You're at war with your own reactivity. When you stop explaining yourself to those who misunderstand you, you become free. When you stop engaging with noise, you grow stronger. And when you protect your attention like sacred ground, you start to build a life on your terms. So if you felt scattered, distracted, or emotionally hijacked, it's time to return to yourself. Comment below, "I guard my mind," because once you do, the world can no longer divide it. Number 4, detach to gain power. What if I told you that the most powerful person in any room is the one who feels the least need to react? The moment you become emotionally detached, not numb, but centered, you become truly unstoppable. Why? Because no one can pull you into their chaos. No one can use their words, their moods, or their judgments to shake your peace. You become a wall they cannot climb, a mirror they cannot distort. Stoicism teaches that true power isn't about controlling others. It's about refusing to be controlled by anything outside of yourself. As Emperor Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Think about that. How many times have you allowed a careless comment to ruin your entire day? How often have you drained your energy worrying about things far beyond your influence, opinions, outcomes, or imagined futures? The world is built to provoke you. Its noise, distractions, and emotional hooks are all designed to keep you reactive and therefore weak. But the Stoic response is simple and powerful: indifference. Not the coldness of apathy, but the calm discernment of knowing what truly matters. When you master the art of indifference, negativity loses its grip. Insults slide off your mind like rain off stone. Drama passes you by like wind through branches. People may try to get a reaction through criticism, praise, guilt, or fear, but they fail. And the paradox? The less you react, the more powerful you appear. Not because you're pretending, but because you're anchored in something deeper: self-mastery. So, how do you cultivate emotional detachment the Stoic way? First, detach from approval. What others think of you is none of your concern. Their opinions don't shape your reality, your character does. Second, detach from outcomes. You don't control results. You control effort, discipline, and intention. Let the rest unfold as it will. Third, detach from provocation. When someone tries to push your buttons, remain still. The reaction is what they crave. Deny it. And lastly, detach from distractions. Gossip, arguments, and petty debates are thieves of your focus. Your mind is a fortress. Guard it well. Emotional detachment isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It means you've stopped trading your peace for things that were never yours to hold. So, the next time someone tries to shake your calm, remember, a Stoic mind is like a mountain, unmoved by the winds, indifferent to the storm. Stay composed. Stay disciplined. Stay in control. If you're ready to master this level of peace, comment below, "I control my mind," because once you do, no one will ever be able to break you again. Number 5. Discipline over distraction. The average person today isn't enslaved by chains, but by impulses. They wake up and reach for their phones without thinking. They scroll, they consume, they chase comfort, avoid challenge, and wonder why life feels dull, directionless, and out of control. But the Stoic knows better. The Stoic understands that freedom is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of self-mastery. As Cleanthes, a lesser-known but deeply respected Stoic, once said, "The man who conquers himself is greater than he who conquers a city." And that's the truth most people avoid. If you cannot command your thoughts, your time, your desires, you are not free. You're simply drifting, constantly swayed by the next urge, the next notification, the next emotional wave. In our modern world, distraction is the true enemy. Social media, endless entertainment, cheap dopamine hits. They don't just waste your time, they steal your focus, your energy, your life force, because a distracted mind is easy to guide, easy to influence, easy to control. And here's the secret: no one can manipulate the man who is already in command of himself. Discipline is not punishment, it's liberation. It's choosing discomfort in the short term to build strength in the long term. It's saying no to what weakens you so you can say yes to what strengthens you. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Cleanthes, they didn't waste their lives chasing pleasure or running from pain. They trained their minds like warriors. They built inner fortresses the world couldn't shake. So, how do you build this kind of discipline? First, train yourself to resist comfort. The more you seek ease, the weaker your will becomes. Embrace challenge. Lean into discomfort. Growth lives there. Second, limit your inputs. Not all information is wisdom. Cut out the noise. Protect your mind from negativity, from endless scrolling, from empty comparison. Third, master your time. Every moment you waste is a moment surrendered to mediocrity. Guard your time like a treasure. Spend it with intention. Fourth, act. Don't overthink. Most people stay trapped in endless preparation. A Stoic moves with purpose, thoughtfully but decisively. And finally, detach from the outcome. Discipline isn't about chasing results. It's about committing to the process. Show up, do the work, let the rest unfold. Because a man who commands himself, his habits, his reactions, his energy, is a man who commands his destiny. The one who doesn't, he is ruled by everything and everyone around him. So ask yourself, who do you want to be? If you're ready to rise above distraction, to reclaim your inner strength and shape your life with intention, comment below. I choose discipline over comfort, because once you make that choice, everything begins to change. Number 6. Power in silence. Why do most people fear silence? Because in silence, there's no one else to distract them from themselves. No background noise to blur their thoughts. No constant conversation to keep them from facing their truth. So they drown themselves in stimulation, scrolling endlessly, talking constantly, consuming noise like a drug. All to avoid the one confrontation that matters most, the one with their own mind. But the Stoic doesn't run from solitude. He embraces it. To the Stoic, solitude is not isolation. It is strength. It is the arena where clarity is forged, where illusions dissolve, and where the self is sharpened into something formidable. Cleanthes, a humble Stoic who followed Zeno, once said that a man must retreat into himself as a fortress. Not to escape life, but to prepare for it. And Marcus Aurelius, though he ruled the Roman Empire, found his greatest strength not in conquest, but in stillness, in quiet moments of reflection, in pages of journaling where he confronted his weaknesses, refined his thoughts, and returned stronger. Why is solitude so powerful? Because when you remove the noise of the world, your thoughts grow louder and clearer. You begin to see what truly matters. You stop chasing opinions, trends, and expectations. You become grounded. You become self-reliant. The Stoic doesn't need a crowd to feel important. He doesn't need applause to know his worth. He is whole within himself. In solitude, no one is there to provoke you, no one to flatter or insult, just you and your inner world. And that is where mastery begins. You gain emotional control because you learn to sit with discomfort without needing to react. You develop mental clarity because nothing pulls you away from what truly deserves your focus. And you become harder to manipulate because the man who enjoys his own company cannot be controlled by the fear of being alone. Our society glorifies constant connection, endless interaction. But ask yourself, why? Because a distracted mind is easier to influence. A person who can't be alone is easier to please, easier to sway, easier to keep small. But the man who walks in silence, who builds in solitude, who does not chase attention, that man becomes unstoppable. He doesn't announce every move. He doesn't explain himself to the world. He listens more, speaks less, and acts with quiet conviction. And when he returns from the silence, he returns sharper, calmer, untouchable. So the next time you feel discomfort in being alone, don't run from it. Lean into it. There, you'll find something most never will: yourself. If you resonate with this truth, comment below. I thrive in silence. Because once you embrace solitude, no force in the world can shake your foundation. Number 7. Why cutting people off is sometimes necessary. Not everyone in your life is meant to stay. Some people are anchors, quietly dragging you down, keeping you locked in old patterns. Others are distractions, cluttering your mind with gossip, doubt, and petty drama. And some? They are emotional parasites, feeding off your energy while giving nothing in return. The greatest mistake you can make is holding on to relationships that no longer align with your growth. But many stay out of guilt, fear of confrontation, or the ache of loneliness, and in doing so, they sacrifice their peace. A Stoic, however, understands a deeper truth. Detachment is not cruelty, it is clarity. As Seneca wisely advised, associate with those who will make you better. And though unspoken, that advice carries a hard edge. Cut off those who don't. If someone constantly drains your energy, disrespects your growth, mocks your ambition, or guilts you for setting boundaries, they are not your ally. They are a weight. And to move forward, you must be willing to let go. Walking away is not an act of hate. It's an act of self-respect. Because the moment you say, I choose myself, you unlock a level of strength most never reach. You stop begging for peace and start protecting it. And when your energy is no longer wasted on the wrong people, the right ones find you naturally. If you're ready to release what no longer serves you, comment below. I let go with strength, because real growth requires real courage. And sometimes that means walking away. Number 8. Build inner confidence. Confidence isn't a gift, it's a discipline. Most people believe confidence comes from what they have: money, looks, titles, praise. But what happens when those things disappear? Their sense of worth collapses with them. Why? Because it was never real. It was built on sand. The Stoic sees through this illusion. He knows that true confidence is built from the inside out, rooted not in what the world gives, but in what can never be taken away: self-mastery. An untrained mind crumbles at criticism. It panics in hardship. But the Stoic mind? It stands firm, calm under pressure, still in the face of noise, untouchable in the storm. Because it has learned this truth, anything dependent on the external is fragile, but what is built within is unshakable. So, how do you build this confidence the Stoic way? Detach from validation. Your worth isn't measured by likes, praise, or applause. The Stoic validates himself through virtue, not vanity. Embrace discomfort. The more adversity you face, the more capable you become. Confidence grows from challenge, not comfort. Control your reactions. Don't be quick to anger or fear. True confidence is quiet, still, and composed. It doesn't flinch. It observes. Own your presence. Speak less. Move with intention. You don't need to prove anything when you already know who you are, because confidence, at its core, is simply this: the belief that no matter what happens, you will handle it. And that belief isn't gifted. It's earned through discipline, through failure, through showing up again and again. Look around. Most people are desperate to be liked, to be seen, to feel worthy. But the moment you stop chasing approval, something powerful happens. You start to attract it. Not because you need it, but because you've become someone who doesn't. You no longer compete. You no longer compare. You just live, anchored in your own power. If you're ready to live from that place of quiet strength, comment below, "I am enough as I am." Because once you believe that, the world can never make you feel small again. Number 9. Freedom through self-mastery. At the heart of everything we seek, success, peace, strength, lies one ultimate goal: freedom. Not freedom in the political sense or even financial, but something deeper. The freedom to think clearly, to act without fear, to move through life without being ruled by emotions, opinions, or the expectations of others. The freedom to own your mind, your choices, and your destiny. Most people will never taste this. They live in invisible prisons, bound by toxic attachments, self-doubt, and a constant need for validation. They chase applause, distractions, and temporary highs. And by the time they realize they've traded their life for things that don't matter, it's already slipping away. But you have a choice. You can live like the many, reactive, uncertain, and dependent. Or you can walk the Stoic path, inward, disciplined, unshakable. The final lesson of Stoicism is simple, yet life-changing. Freedom is self-mastery. It's not about controlling the world. It's about mastering yourself. When you no longer need approval, you become immune to rejection. When you stop chasing noise, clarity emerges. When you no longer fear solitude, you discover your power. Epictetus, once a slave, became one of the freest men in history, not because his circumstances changed, but because he did. So here is the final truth. The moment you stop caring about what doesn't serve you is the moment you become truly free. You've made it this far, and that says something powerful. It means you're not here to live on autopilot. You're here to grow, to lead yourself, and to rise above the noise. Now, it's time to turn insight into action. Drop a comment below with just 3 words. I choose me. Let it be your quiet declaration, your first step toward full ownership of your life. If this message spoke to something deep within you, consider subscribing. Not because you have to, but because you're ready for more clarity, more strength, more truth. This journey isn't about chasing perfection. It's about returning to yourself, one focused decision at a time. Stay grounded, stay intentional, and remember, when you learn to master your mind, you unlock the kind of freedom the world cannot give or take away. We've only scratched the surface. The next step is waiting, and so is your transformation.